Hello, I'm Toby Rutter and this is the 7th instalment of my Year 1 FMP reflection videos. This week has been the second week of our intensive rehearsals, and we now have the entire show made in terms of blocking and sort of action and dialogue. So we spent Monday finishing the blocking of the play. I believe we went from scene 27 through to 33, and we got that all done on Monday, which was quite impressive. And it was a really nice feeling getting the show finished. And, almost that feeling that we've made something that we can be proud of. So yes, Monday we spent finishing the blocking of the play. We had a little debrief within ourselves at the end of the day, talking about, what we were excited for in the weeks to come. And yes, then as we went into Tuesday, we began rehearsing in our actual performance space on the stage at the Egg Theatre. And I think for us that was really exciting. Number one, because it's always lovely rehearsing in a theatre, particularly the Egg. It's such a nice space to be in. And number two, because we had been blocking and rehearsing in spaces that in no way replicated the dimensions or the size of the stage that we would be performing on. So as we entered into the Tuesday and rehearsing in the Egg, it was really nice to then get a better idea of the space that we had to perform, and sort of then scale the show to fit that. One thing that we were really apprehensive of when we entered the space was the platform that the director had put in at the back of the stage. It was a raised platform, probably about a foot high, and it was the width of the stage. And I think we were all particularly apprehensive because all of our blocking hadn't taken into account the platform. We hadn't at any point in the blocking considered the platform. And so we all knew that we would then have to, especially in transitions, we would have to completely alter our movements and blocking and our journeys across the stage, so that it looked good for the audience, but mainly so it wasn't a hazard, so that we didn't fall over or trip on the platform. I think the main challenge, though, with the platform is that during the show that we had blocked with just a completely flat stage, there were a number of pieces of furniture that would be moved to the back of the stage, and we knew that was no longer possible with the platform, particularly with the wheelie office chair. We were told you simply cannot take that onto the platform because it's a hazard. So yes, entering the space, we were a mix of both excited and apprehensive. But once we had then factored in, that it was a smaller space and we did need to alter our blocking and our journeys to reflect that, it then all started to sort of fall into place and form a shape. So then moving into the later stages of the week, I think this started on Wednesday into Thursday, we were slotting in Joseph, our sound designer's designs into the show. And that was really nice because we then started to see the show in a less raw form. Because, just with our movement and our dialogue, it's a very stripped back, very basic piece of theatre. But once we started to add in the furniture, which was piece by piece arriving into the space, so adding in the furniture, adding in Joseph's sound design, we then, you know, it really started to take shape, and we could see the vision that Sophie, our director, was having, coming together. So that was really nice, and that was a 2-day process, Wednesday and Thursday, to sound tech the entire show, and then Joseph and Sophie had a sort of last minute idea on the Thursday that to sort of replicate time going backwards through the show, we would record our sort of final few lines of dialogue at the end of a scene, and Joseph would then alter that and add it into the transition sound design to make it sound like it was going backwards or forwards or speeding up, slowing down. And we didn't know what to expect, and I don't think Joseph or Sophie did either, which I think is part of the creative process, is playing around and, you know, not knowing where an idea is going to go. But once we recorded our voices, and that required a lot of focus, but once we'd done that and we then saw what Joseph had made, we thought it worked really well. So then going into Friday, we had our first run in the morning. We ran the entire show, and you know, it was still quite a raw form that we were running it with, but we had a lot of creatives in the room watching us, and we all felt that the run was great. We thought that, you know, considering we still had a week to go before opening night, we thought that we were in a really good place. We knew that everything that went wrong was, you know, we could solve it. The main thing that went wrong was transitions, because where we were walking backwards in all of our transitions, there was a lot of traffic and a lot of collisions, but we knew that if we practiced those enough and we worked out exactly where our journeys were going, we knew that we could solve that. So at the end of the Friday run, we felt that we were in a really good place to go sort of into Tech Week. One of the things that Sophie kept saying to us is that we'd taken her notes really well throughout the process. And so I think it must have been really nice for her to watch the run and think, I told them to do this and they have done it, or I've told them to do that and they've done it. So that was something that we were being really mindful of, is that we were taking Sophie's notes and we were responding to those and doing what she was, you know, giving us as direction. So yes, I think the main thing we need to work on is our transitions, working out our journeys, and not colliding with one another. But I think we all feel very confident and like we have a good show in the making as we go into Tech Week. Thank you very much.